They were out on patrol, and somehow they got captured. Well, Jones managed to escape, and he left this fella Clark in the desert to die. Mind you, there may not be any truth in it, but what I always say is, there's no smoke without fire. No smoke without fire.
Look at that lovely moon, Joe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's very nice.
What's up with you tonight?
Well, I've got a lot of things on my mind.
Oh, makes a change. If you've only got one thing on your mind. Come on, give us a kiss.
No, wait a minute, love. There's a time and place for everything.
But this is the time and the place. Will you love me anymore?
Yeah, of course I love you. I'm mad about you. It's just I'm worried about Jonesy. You know, I asked him straight out if there was any truth in his story about him leaving this fella in the desert, you know, leaving him in the lurch, and, well, he wouldn't say anything. He wouldn't even deny it.
Look, you gonna give me a kiss or not?
Oh, yeah, well, I suppose so. I mean, I'm sitting here and
You asleep, Elizabeth? You know, I can't help thinking it would be better to sleep inside the house when there isn't a raid on. The shelter's very damp. Oh. That's no good. I can't sleep. I'm going to have a read. You know, I'm sure you'd be much more comfortable if I were on the top bunk.
Post, Mr. Jones.
Oh, thank you, Raymond. Oh.
Why did you leave your friend in the desert to die? There's no room in Warmington-on-Sea for a coward? A coward like you is not even worth a whole white feather, so I'm sending you a half a one. Raymond?
Yes, Mr. Jones?
Raymond? Yeah. I want you to look after the shop for a little while. There's something I've got to do.
What's that, Mr. Jones?
Something I should have done a long time ago, boy. That's the only way. It's the only way.
Right, gentlemen. I intend to get to the bottom of this, once and for all. Now, Clark, supposing you tell us exactly what did happen between you and Jones in the desert.
Well, sir, we was on patrol and we was captured by the dervishes. They pegged me out in the sand. Jones, well, he begged for mercy. They took him with them. Somehow he managed to escape and they'll come back for me. He left me to die, he did. Well, I must have passed out, but I can just remember this native bending over me, going through my pockets. But when I come to, I was in hospital. That native must have saved my life, even if he did pinch me wallet.
I still find it very hard to believe that Jones would have left you to die.
But then why has he cleared off?
I'll tell you why I cleared off.
Jones, where have you been?
For Mr. Speak, sir. First of all, I'd like to thank you for having faith in me, sir. Up to now, my lips have been sealed. But now I can reveal myself in my true light and tell you what really happened. You see, sir, it all occurred a few days before the Battle of Omdurman. Private Clark and I were part of a patrol sent out by General Kitchener to find out the strength of the Mahdi's army. The patrol was under the commander, Colonel Smythe, a tall, resolute man of iron who scarcely spoke a word. The other officer was a young, raw second lieutenant, just out of Sandhurst. he was the Colonel's nephew. There was also a young Cockney, Private Green. He kept our spirits up with jokes and merry quips. The sergeant was Sergeant Ironside, a nasty, coarse fellow who kept giving us the rough side of his tongue. I knew that patrol was doomed from the start. As I looked up, I could see vultures wheeling overhead, waiting to pick our bones. And then, as we rounded a corner, there was an old Farker blocking our path. Turn back, said the old Farker. It is written in the sand that before the sun sinks, all of you will be dead. Rubbish, said the Colonel. Clear out the way, you old fool. Do not go against the will of Allah, said the old Farker. What's written in the sand is written in the sand. None of us took much notice of him as we all marched past. However, as we drew level with him, the sergeant gave him a mouthful of coarse abuse. This seemed to upset the old Farker. He said something to the sergeant in Arabic. I didn't understand what it was at the time, but later I learned it was a curse upon us all. Well, we didn't have long to wait before the words of the Farker came true. About midday, when the sun was scorching down like a great big burning brass ball, suddenly, without a word of warning, a fusillade of shots rang out.
Take cover! Take cover!
Take cover! Take cover!
Take cover!
I rushed over to the lieutenant and cradled him in my arms. To think of this young boy dying out here in the foreign burning desert. It was too much to bear.
Thank you, Jones. You're a good chap. It's dashed hard luck it's happening like this. I want you to promise me something.
What's that, sir?
When you get back to England, I want you to go and see my mater.
Yes, sir.
Tell her I couldn't help it.
You couldn't help what, sir?
Falling off my horse.
Keep your heads down.
Uncle Arthur,
Yes, Franklin?
in case we don't get out of this alive, something I want to ask you.
What is it?
It's about you and Mater.
Well, I'd rather you didn't ask.
I won't.
That's it, don't.
Sergeant, there's thousands of them.
Shut up. Keep your head
I don't like the look of this, Colonel. That wishes me.
I think you're right, Sergeant. As soon as it's dark, I think we better send somebody for help.
Mr. Speak, sir.
Oh, what is it, Jones?
I'd like to be the soldier who volunteers to go and fetch help as soon as it's dark, sir.
All right, Jones, you do that. Take that fellow, what's his name, Private Clark, with you.
Right. We managed to creep out during the night, and the next morning we were on our way for help. Little did we realise that at that moment, nasty savage eyes was watching our every move. All the time the sun was beating down on us, and we had to stop for a rest. It was then we realised our water bottles were empty. Suddenly we looked up. There was two horrible dervishes looking down at us. We were trapped, caught by the dervishes. We knew what we were in for. I was ready to take my medicine like a man, when all of a sudden, Private Clark flung himself down in the sand and grovelled and begged for mercy. I couldn't stand it. I had to look away. Those dervishes didn't know the meaning of mercy. They pegged Clark out in the sand and left him there to die. They dragged me behind them for miles. What fate was in store for me, I had no means of knowing. After hours of this torture, we stopped and they started to cook a meal. Suddenly, one of them said something. The other pulled out a dagger. Next minute, they were at each other's throats. They fought like demons. I realised this was my chance. They weren't taking any notice of me. So I worked my way over to the fire. I burnt through the ropes, and I used the sticky. Suddenly, one of the dervishes broke away, jumped on his horse and made off. He'd had enough. The other dervish shouted something after him. Then I remember that dervishes can't stand fire. They just can't stand it. I quickly seized a burning brand from the fire and thrust it in front of his face. The effect was amazing. He turned from a proud warrior into a gibbering idiot. His nostrils distended with fear. Then he shouted, Ka-ya-ka-ka-ka, ka-ya-ka-ka-ka-ka, which translated literally means, put that light out, put that light out. I made him take his robes off. I had him at my mercy. I quickly put them on over my uniform, took the horse, and before you could say knife, I was hurrying back to rescue Private Clark. When I got back, I thought Clark was a goner. I cut the ropes, took his wallet out of his tunic to send home with his personal effects. I opened it, and inside I saw something that, in spite of the heat, made my blood run cold. There was a photograph of the Colonel's lady. The Colonel, sir, was a very upstanding gentleman, but his wife was not quite so upstanding. I think that she and this Private Clark had been... I couldn't believe it. While I was kneeling there in a daze of misery, I heard a groan. Clark wasn't dead after all. Well, Mr. Manring, I got him on the horse, and after a nightmare journey through the desert, we came across the relief column. Well, Private Clark was taken back to headquarters, and I never saw him again until last week. And then, sir, I've got to tell you something. I kept that secret locked in my bosoms all those years. The secret that nobody knew, except Private Clark, the Colonel's lady, and myself.
Why on earth couldn't you have told us this before?
Well, I couldn't, could I, sir? While I thought there was still a chance that the Colonel's lady and the Colonel himself were still alive. That's where I've been the last 2 days. See, I went up to Somerset House, didn't I, looking through the records. And I'm happy to say that the Colonel and his good lady are now up in that great parade ground somewhere in the sky. where the breath of scandal cannot touch them, sir. And now at last I got a chance to burn these letters.
I'm sorry, Jones. Right. Now I'll deal with Clark.
I think he went outside a few minutes ago, sir.
Well, why didn't you stop him?
Well,
He's not going to get away with this, you know.
Right.
Come on, after him.
You're in a hurry, aren't you?
Did you see a man leave here about 2 minutes ago?
Yeah, he was rushing towards the station, said he had a train to catch.
The station? Right, come on.
I shouldn't bother, mate. He gave me a message. I'm to tell you he's very sorry he's had to resign and he'll post the uniform back to you.
He can't do that.
Desertion's a serious crime, ain't it?
Yes, it is, very.
What you going to do? Put him up against the wall and shoot at him with water pistols or thrash him with a wet lettuce?
What's me about? Just clear off, will you?
Pike, yes, sir. Jump on a bicycle, see if you can catch him.
He's not worth bothering about, sir. Let him go.
No, I didn't like him. My mum said never trust anybody with their eyes too close together.
The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on.
What's that got to do with it?
But I don't know, sir.
Here, come on, Jonesy. You can burn that photo and those letters now. Forget all about it. There we go, mate.
Here. What do you think you're doing? You gone raving mad? An enemy plane will set out from miles away.
Ah, shut up.
Put that light out!